Times Influence Initiative.
Previously on Swachh School Awards, insights were shared.
The sanitation or the cleanliness or Swachh Bharat has to be everyone's business.
Schools were honoured and children were crowned the real heroes. On the final episode of the Swachh School Awards, we bring to you a panel of experts who share their insights while envisioning a future dedicated solely to the Clean India, Green India revolution. The panel featured Tara Sharma, actress, entrepreneur and creator and co-producer of the Tara Sharma Show. Arumugam Kalimuthu, Program Director, Swachh Bharat Mission, Technical Assistance Program at the Swachh Institute. Akanksha Sharma, Head of Corporate Social Responsibility at Jubilant Foodworks. Sylvia Datta, Head of Corporate Communications at Jubilant Foodworks. And was moderated by Sumit Lakhotia from ET Now. Mr. Arumugam, I would want to talk to you first. What is the major challenge, or what are some of the major challenges that need to be addressed when you talk about Swachhta, when you talk about Clean India?
When you talk about Swachh Bharat Mission program, the government, both Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, looking after the drinking water sanitation program in the rural areas, as well as Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, they are looking after the water and sanitation issues in the urban settings. And both the missions, Swachh Bharat Mission, focusing on achieving total sanitation by 2nd October 2019. So a lot of effort, lot of input, lot of support is going on to the cities and the villages to achieve total sanitation. But almost the sanitation coverage in urban India is almost 93%, only 3% open defecation, 7% open defecation. I'm sure it will be achieved before the deadline set. And similarly, rural also progressing well. But at the same time, we see that maybe the 1981, the sanitation coverage is something around 1%. Now we have the rural sanitation coverage is 1%. Now within 36 years, we have reached up to almost 65 in the rural. And maybe another 2 to 2.5 years time, we need to reach 100%. There are a lot of challenges around. So mainly looking after the challenges, mainly the supply chain. So the availability of quality material in the rural villages to construct toilet, and the skills and capacity availability, and maybe the technological choices, because the one sanitation technology will not fit across the country. There are a number of challenges around promoting sanitation. So there are waterlogging areas, there are areas where maybe the normal pit latrine will work. So there are a lot of technological challenges. There are a number of challenges around. Maybe the government is taking effort to achieve this mission. But at the same time, government is terming this as a people's movement. Government alone can't solve this issue. All the citizens should join hand and take the movement. So then definitely we are sure that we'll be achieving. Yeah.
Great. Tara, he brought up a very important point about it being a people's movement. And, the Prime Minister has nominated a few celebrities who have a large fan following as the Navratnas to kind of give this mission a boost. What's your thought on that, about how these, celebrities could create a ripple effect in amongst the people?
So I think basically, as we all know, that celebrities or people who are famous and have a following can do a lot when it comes to creating awareness, and I think that's primarily the reason for all sort of endorsements. As a mother, I can certainly say that when our kids saw Mr. Bachchan talking about Swachh Bharat, I think that that evening when we went to the racecourse, they actually spent about an hour picking up litter. And I often say, I think we learn a lot from our kids, and they take in things and then they teach us. So I think it was an example of having a famous face kind of tell you something, and then people acting on it. And I think perhaps obviously people who have a very big mass following, it works very well for a campaign like this.
Okay, fantastic. Akanksha, I want to come to you now. With this Swachh Bharat mission, a lot of corporates are also pitching in. How do you see that making an impact on the business agenda of these corporates?
See, I believe Swachh Bharat is a subject which cannot be solely based on the government's initiatives and efforts. And like we talked about the people's movement, it calls for a greater collaborative approach between individuals, government and corporates. And it is really encouraging that a lot of corporates are coming forward and taking this agenda up both in spirits and in practice. In fact, at Jubilant Foodworks, we are driving this agenda very passionately right at the individual level through various touch points, be it our consumers, employees or business partners. So I think it is definitely a people's movement to drive behavioral change at all levels.
Sylvia, coming to you, when you talk about communication and talking about the CSR perspective, how do you think that, it's really crucial, because the communication is really important to create an impact on the ground? What are your thoughts on that?
Sumit, I feel, it's very important that, we communicate to our efforts and initiative to all the stakeholders. This helps us to convey the impact that we have made, and also it will help us to highlight, the issues at hand and the greater agenda. So the idea is to create the part of this public discourse and encourage more involvement from people, so that through creating recall and underlining its importance.
That's true. Mr. Arumugam, at the Swachh Institute, you're undertaking massive initiatives, and some of them are related to schools also. So, when we talk about Swachh schools, if you could shed a little light on some of the initiatives that you've undertaken with schools, and what's the feedback that you're getting on the ground?
The school Swachh program, we are doing it in different districts in Tamil Nadu, Andhra, as well as in Bihar. And mainly we are focusing on integrated development. And the school was normally what happened, it is the facilities should include gender-friendly, child-friendly and disabled-friendly. So whether the unit which you are designing is whether meeting all those needs. And also most of the cases where you find problem is, there are maybe the school strength is 500 or 1500, you need to design number of cubicles meeting the strength of the children. So what we do is we do detailed baseline with the school children, not only the assessment of the technical aspect as well as about the behavior change pattern, and we design a school program. Our school design, the infrastructure design includes the comprehensive facilities. So that is gender, child friendly and disabled friendly. Gender friendly, what I am saying that, so in case in the high and higher secondary school, access to sanitary napkin, disposal system, and there is a facility within the sanitary block providing a change room to change napkins. All sort of facilities part of our sanitation infrastructure. In addition to that, we focus more on institution building, because we know that the construction of the infrastructure or toilet, it is matter of 3 to 6 month job. So that any contractor can do that. But important aspect or the major aspect is that operation maintenance. Most of the cases, if you analyze across the country, the problem around school Swachh program is operation maintenance. So that's what our focus is, more on institutional building, training the school teacher, training the school management committees, and forming the child clubs, and maybe training them on various water and sanitation aspect of it. So maybe once if you develop a school system, the infrastructure on water and sanitation, it should be maintained sustainably. The focus is around institutional building, and the focus is around training them on various hygiene aspects and the hand washing practices, because almost all the primary schools a noon meal scheme is there, whether the school kitchen is hygienic, whether the staff involved in the preparation of food are they following all the hygienic practices. All those things we incorporate in our sanitation program. So yeah, that's what maybe our integrated approach is.
That's really important, because it's not a one-day initiative of just setting up a toilet and then leaving it. It's important that it's maintained and it's used regularly. Tara, coming to you, on your show, the Tara Sharma show, you talk a lot about parenting and you meet parents and kids. What are your thoughts on the impact that kids have on the behavior of their parents? What I'm getting to is that, here we're trying to inculcate the habit through the Swachh School mission, is to inculcate the habit of cleanliness, sanitation, hygiene in kids, so that themselves, they are hygienic, as well as when they go home, they teach their siblings, their parents, their neighbors, their grandparents about this. So what is the importance of that? Is that a good move?
So as I mentioned earlier, I think children teach adults a lot. I think children, are naturally very, they're very receptive to learning. So I think it's a fantastic program. I personally have visited some WASH schools and, when we were doing an episode on our show on saving the earth, we visited some schools and I was very impressed. And I have to say our kids' own school, they do a lot about awareness on hygiene and cleanliness and sanitation. But I think, as Mr. Arumugam said, maintaining it and also creating the awareness, because you can build a toilet. But then I think it's also about not just explaining to the children. I think it's really important at a grassroots level to explain the importance of hygiene and sanitation even to adults.
Right.
So I would actually honestly propose that just like you do WASH schools, you should also perhaps have some programs to teach the same things to some of the parents, especially perhaps in rural areas where they all know, but I think it's not even a condescending thing to say, but often people are not aware. Like, for example, it's so much put into our heads about wash your hands, go to the loo. You'll find a lot of places, I see in front of my own house, on the beach, in the slums, they might have a toilet, but they'll still, some of them go out in the open because they don't know. So I think, honestly, I would say grassroots level education across all ages. And starting with schools is amazing. They teach their parents perhaps when they go home. But I think perhaps also having some, workshops for parents would be great too.
That's a lovely thought. We will take that back. Thank you for that. Sylvia, let's come to you. With this initiative, the Swachh School Awards, how have you and why have you been engaging with schools and children specifically?
Swachh School Awards supports the national agenda Swachh Bharat, and also is an extension of our campaign that we have launched 2 years back, Be the Change, which is about behavioral change. And as we all know, as a child, it is very important to inculcate the human values, good habits, and this helps you to become a responsible citizen. And when as you grow up, and this platform aims to recognize, inspire and celebrate excellence in sanitization and hygiene practices in private and public schools.
Akanksha, when we talk about Jubilant Foodworks, why have you picked the subject of this particular subject? Because the Swachh Bharat mission is huge. It encompasses a lot of aspects. Just if I could get your thoughts on that.
Jubilant Foodworks has been trying to strive and contribute towards this particular agenda of Swachh Bharat in a very focused manner of behavioral change. So when I talk about behavioral change, I mean involving the larger masses and engaging them in a way that we all can become a part of it to drive, because it is not one man's agenda. And at an organizational level, we have been trying to leverage our business strengths within the sphere of our business, both in terms of, since it is a consumer connected brand and having its national footprint in over 200 cities all across the country. So we want, which gives us an opportunity to engage with the larger masses at a greater level and involve them in this national agenda. So we have been working, in fact, on Swachh Bharat Abhiyan from 2015, when the campaign was kicked off by the Honorable Finance Minister, and all the business units of Jubilant, they were literally on roads, sweeping the streets, cleaning the neighborhoods, and the momentum carried on all throughout, and it's on till the time when we got into an institutional partnership with the Indian Railways, and have been really helping them to make the stations cleaner, improve the infrastructure, and of course, not the least, create greater behavioral awareness.
Mr. Arumugam, when you're on the ground across the country, or even at the institute, what are some of the innovations that you see that are making a mark, that are changing the game in helping spread the word of a clean India across the nation?
Before answering your question, everyone mentioned about the behavior change communication, which is a very critical element. Just I wanted to have just a word around that, then maybe I'll answer your question. And the behavior change communication is a critical part, because almost when you are talking about a sanitation program, sanitation is not a hardware, it is a software, it's a mindset of the people, right? So that's what maybe the more focus on behavior change communication is critical, both at school level, at the community level, if you want to achieve sanitation. That's what again I want to make a mention, that the sanitation program, it's not the hardware, it is a mindset of the people, how you bring change around their behavior. There are a lot of innovative things happening across the country. There are a number of innovative sanitation models. So nowadays, availability of trained mason in the villages is always a critical element. You train them, maybe then, because a lot of infrastructure booming, people always shift to the house construction. Now the ready-made toilet is coming into picture. There are a number of ready-made toilets are available. You go and install a toilet in school as well as for the community level. So that's the innovation. There are a number of what you call the innovative technology around now. The more and more pit latrines or maybe septic tank toilets are coming up. So maybe how the fecal sludge is handled or managed. So there are now the decentralized waste management systems, are a lot of innovation happening. There are toilet, the bag and design, that is the septic tank or maybe the leach pit or maybe biodigest. There are a number of innovative technologies are coming up. So how far these technologies are viable, maybe so we need to see and wait for the perfect result. So innovation around both the school was side as well as the behavior change communication side, technology side, a lot of work happening across the country.
Tara, coming to you, like Mr. Arumugam said, that it's like a software, it's not a hardware. It's got to be instilled into the brain, body, heart of the person. How different is it when trying to do that with kids as opposed to adults?
I think, in our kids' school, they have the PYP program now, and they do a lot of, learning by doing. And I think it was just one class where they were told about saving electricity, and my 6-year-old and our 8-year-old insist on turning off all the lights and fans every time they go in and out of a place. So I think kids really learn quickly. So I think talking about behavioral change and stuff, they're great champions of this cause. Having said all that, I think to me, cleanliness and sanitation goes beyond just the behavioral change of that value of causing cleanliness. I think it actually boils down also to respect. And I think this is where cleanliness and sanitation is almost symbolic of, peace and respect all around. Because what happens is that you're conscious that for many years, we've always known that people have a tendency to only be concerned about their area, right?
Yeah,
we've seen it many times. You'll clean your home, but you'll throw the garbage out.
Exactly.
Or you'll wash your little area and make it dirty. So I think one of the wonderful things about Swachh Bharat is that it's telling you that we clean the neighborhood, we clean the beach. And I think that's what kids or this program is perhaps teaching everyone.
Very true on that. Sylvia, just your thoughts on how has the response been from the schools with this Swachh School Awards? What's the feedback you're getting?
It was overall a very good response, and we as a Jubilant Foodworks, we always try to innovate a lot of things in various areas. And this is one of our very the subject, the Swachh School which is very close to our heart, and we are very happy with the responses that we have received so far.
The Swachh Bharat mission, while it is a government's initiative, and of course it's asking the everyday citizen to join in, but corporates are playing a very important part. We discussed that earlier. Why do you think that this is an unofficial public-private partnership? The importance of that. Akanksha, if I could get first your thoughts on that.
See, as I said earlier, Swachh Bharat calls for greater engagement from all stakeholders of the community, be it government, corporates, or at an individual level. And I think what is more important is to for each one of us to realize the importance of taking up the agenda and owning it, so that it can become sustainable behavioral change. Because behavioral change also, when we talk about, the critical thing is how long will it sustain for, and that decides the success of the program. So I believe the unofficial public-private partnership that you talked about is very well and beautifully ingrained in this program, and I think the government is also able to drive it quite successfully. We must appreciate this fact. A lot of NGOs and corporates are coming forward to back it up in all possible ways, and I think that going with this page, we should see India cleaner and greener very soon.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. We're just about running out of time, so I'd just like to come to all the panelists for closing comments. Tara, I'd like to start with you. What would be the one thing that you would like to change about this, the full Clean India, the Swachh School mission? Just what the one thing that you would like to change?
Firstly, I'd like to commend the program. I think it's a great program, and I think it goes beyond, as I said, just cleanliness. It's actually all about progress. I think, as Mr. Arumugam earlier pointed out, and this is something I wanted to say but I forgot, the fact that you have gender segregation and toilets for the boy child and the girl child is very important, because one of the biggest reasons for student dropouts, especially with girl children, is lack of sanitation, lack of a restroom, lack of hygienic toilets. And I did an episode on our show on dignity and honor, and we actually had Malala's father actually speak as well about how education for the girl child often is affected tremendously because of not having sanitation. So I think this whole program, cleanliness, goes beyond just hygiene. It goes to progress, because the less school dropouts, the better progress economically for the country. So it's a win-win for everyone, including the environment.
That's very important. It's a great thought. Mr. Arumugam, sir, if I could have your closing comments and your thoughts on this.
Yeah, so the closing comments from my end is, actually the sanitation, I wanted to see that maybe 2nd October 2019 we set as a deadline to achieve open defecation free clean India status. I want to see the result is coming out that before that day. And maybe all our school across the country has got a functional toilet with well-maintained toilet facilities. All the children should use the facilities. That's what I wanted to see.
Fantastic. Akanksha, if you could change one thing, what would be that one thing that you'd like changed in this?
What I would like to change, it's an appeal that, we should look at this campaign or this program as a mission rather than a program itself, and could, bridge the gap at all levels, be it at institutional level in terms of, building right partnerships, or at ground level, which in terms of like, he said, building toilets or providing right infrastructure and access to people to, make this country cleaner and greener.
Sylvia, closing comments from you. What would be the one thing that you would like to change?
I feel we need to change the attitude towards neighborhood cleanliness, because if we have to achieve this Swachh Bharat mission, it is our responsibility and to keep our neighborhood clean. If we don't change, it's again, we have already talked about the behavioral change. So, the change should come from every individual, then only we can achieve this greater mission.
Fantastic. Well, that's about all the time that we have. Thank you so much, Tara, for being on the show. Thank you, Mr. Arumugam. Thank you, Akanksha. Thank you, Sylvia, for being here. And thank you so much for watching Jubilant Foodworks present Swachh School Awards in association with ET Now. And we hope that we've been able to contribute to this great Clean India mission. And like Mr. Arumugam also said earlier, let's hope that we can beat that deadline of October 2nd, 2019. From the entire team, thank you very much for watching.
Times Influence Initiative.